Hello, welcome back to CLT eSports here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have 3 teams left, these two in the winners finals. You know what they say, you get out of the winners bracket and into the grand finals, your chances of winning the tournament go astronomically higher. And well, we've got a whole lot of Goliaths in this lobby as well. As far as names alone, I hold shift with Tugboat for this one. We'll start things off for Frequency Hardpoint, best of 5, 3Kingz going up against the joint squad of Aspire and Hyperbolic. And these, I think, a lot of people's minds, these are the top 2 teams coming in, and appropriately so. They are matching up in the winners finals.
Absolutely, some bigger names over there on Aspire Hyperbolic. Didn't need an introduction by any means. We're going to be looking at, they're in the red, of course. Now everybody falling on in. First guy. Looking to get involved already. Trades coming through here. 2 and 2, pretty evenly. Still evenly. Actually looking like Aspire Hyperbolic taking this advantage.
I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Out of this game's entire history, Brack, I think, has been one of the more, if not the most dangerous Maddox in this opening scramble for Frequency Hardpoint. He always seems to be one of the last players left alive, but he always seems to come away with at least 2, if not 3 kills. Nelson tries to put on his best impression of that, only finds one before he gets taken down. The retake coming through for 3Kingz, but it's going to be Holler able to get shutting down rather a teammate and then shut down in tandem by Pemby. So this 3Kingz squad not successful on the break attempt, and they will try to hold back on the spawns. Noob's able to find the opening kill, again formerly known from his Carnage Gaming time at World Championships. Him and Mosh, the AMs making it to the World Championship stage. Mosh doing it with Mazer, and of course no introduction needed for Brack.
Absolutely not. This is going the entire way of Aspire Hyperbolic so far. Now the hardpoint shifting on around, 3Kingz getting their shot at it. And with several different kills, mostly off the back of Jimbo on that last one, he got a solid little hold here, and that wasn't until Nelson takes the first one. Trade coming through from him, so both teams fighting 4-4 until these respawns do get back. That's going to be 3Kingz a little bit farther respawn, though.
Brack cleaning up the work done by the majority of his teammates. Jimbo, though, able to move his way back through. A lot of history for Jimbo, Holler, and Archives. A lot of time spent playing with one another throughout the entire history of not only this game, but in their Call of Duty careers. Mac and Sib, of course, name a more iconic duo if you play in 2v2 ladders. You're going to see them somewhere in the mix. Brack only finds a teammate with one more, and just like that, Aspire Hyperbolic will find enough damage dealt to swing things back into their favor for the last 17 seconds. But again, it's 3Kingz who have positioned themselves appropriately for hill number 3. It just comes down to, will they more successfully hold the spawns this time around?
Yeah, that's Mac on one side, Archives on the other, and they're both looking to get these longer range shots on. Of course, there's no reason for Aspire Hyperbolic to show themselves quite yet. Nelson trying to get a better position on that one, but getting felled. There's longer range SMG shots coming in. Archives getting it done so far for the side of 3Kingz, and as he's doing that, all over it, taking points and taking kills while he's at it.
With that kill happening over the middle, will at least allow Aspire Hyperbolic a chance to come to the window. Sib will find 3. Archives assisting with a lot of it, making a 4th for Sib, and 5 straight in the life, working his way towards potentially some streaks, 260 off. But more importantly, 3Kingz, they have the opportunity to retake the lead here, and this nade cook might just be good enough because the hit's coming from the pipe side, well read. And how about that, Sib?
Oh.
He's now 60 off, one more, but gets shut down just beforehand. But again, like I mentioned, 3Kingz finds themselves a lead for a short time, but that's before Aspire are able to break through for the take.
Yeah, so check this. Sib and Archives both with the 2-0 KD ratio, 10-5 until Sib did fall there. Archives at 8-4, excuse me. Over on the other side, Brack really showing out. Pemby does have that positive KD ratio. Nelson trying to get that to that point himself. Mac getting it done here, taking against the SOG and making most of it. Archives doing the same for the side of 3Kingz, and now they're on hard point. Now they are taking points.
A little bit of a split spawn though for Aspire Hyperbolic as they will hit from both sides. A little bit of a pinch setup, but Archives a brilliant cluster to shut down one side, using his gun to shut down the other. Brack and Pemby not able to get the job done, and 3Kingz just like that able to successfully hold off 2 pushes, and now they will retake the lead once again, but this time it's looking like they're going to very much so convincingly establish themselves in a lead. This comes down to where this next hit for Aspire Hyperbolic comes through. It's going to come from the middle. Archives trying to track one down. He earns himself the lightning strike, now 100 off, and not able to find the last shot for the Hellstorm, but regardless, 3Kingz again coming out on top for our 4th hill.
Yep, so he did not get the kill streak, but did maintain control of the hard point, and that's going to pay off in spades here as we see a 3Kingz team getting close to that triple-digit score. Aspire looking like they're going to be taking the last few seconds of this one. 3Kingz will smartly go on. Look at the rest.
Scrap time, though, going the way of that last player sitting there for for Spire Hyperbolic, a 98-90. Doesn't get much closer than that. Brack, Tempest, Hill 1. He uses it almost every single time. He finds only one with it, though that was Sibilance who fell, and 3Kingz still retained the hill. A lot of information gained. Mac, does he time this appropriately? Only finds one question mark? There was another one there, if not a third, but apparently they were just far enough away. But Archives will come back in with Jimbo, and they will combine for 4. And now all of a sudden the Lightning Strike needs to be used because, well, I was going to say Jimbo's 170 off lapping, but Mosh and that cluster will find 2. But still, 3Kingz. This is now 2, maybe even you can call it 2.5 hills in a row for him.
Yeah, great offensive push on that one. The cluster grenade did come in and take out a couple, but seriously, this has been the Jimbo and Archives show so far. They've been getting double kills left and right on this. Sib, not to be not mentioned, 18-8 himself. Everybody getting on in there. Spire Hyperbolic so far taking these kills off the top, though. Getting aggressive. There's Brack taking out Jimbo there in the end. Garbage Time will go the way of Spire Hyperbolic.
And this is a pro player at hand here. Watch how Brack plays this. He gets the information on 2, is able to get away with his life, doesn't take the challenge, backs up to a more favorable position, allows his team to get the rotation back for spawns, but the TAC 5, instrumental for 3Kingz as they're looking to break through. Not the back, but the front. It's Nelson trying to shut down the hallway with the grass up, only finds 1. Mac trying to challenge through, and he finds 2 for his effort. And now 3Kingz, very much so, not only threatening the hill, but had a chance to potentially postured themselves for the spawns, but Spire Hyperbolic come back in just the nick of time off their second respawn, and they retake the hill.
Mosh is all over this kill feed, my man. He's came through here not with a solid KD so far, but then taking it and really going on a streak there. Set up a lot of Hyperbolic Aspire points so far, and now the rest of his team does have this all the way in the middle.
Howler getting a little bit over ambitious with the trigger, puts a couple in the back of the head of Mac. And with that, a couple of kills going the way of the Spire Hyperbolic. They will likely take the last couple of seconds, but Howler's in a really good spot to maybe punish the rotation, at least delay it for a little bit longer. Just comes down to will his respawn come in? No, it doesn't. Number 2, Sibilance, he spawns all the way out by Old, so just like this, if Hyperbolic and Aspire are able to break back through, it's going to be right now. It just comes down to will they successfully do so. Again, Jimbo, Sib, and Mac able to combine for 3, shutting down the rotation, and once again, 3Kingz able to regain the spawns.
Yeah, Sib actually kind of falling a little bit quietly there. 3Kingz gets all over this one. He knows that player's there. He does have the TAC 5, but Nelson not able to live through that one. Sib with a well-placed headshot on that. And now they're going to see a little bit of flat coming out from the outside. Nicely done, Mac, taking out this player, and with a TAC 5 on top, significantly landing a lot more shots.
But there's numbers here for Spire Hyperbolic. Pushing through the window. They'll be able to get there and at least contest for now. 20 seconds still left. Mac, Mosh, 1v1. It will go the way of Mosh up the middle, which will open the door to possibly flank, but Sib does a great job of finding 2, and Holler staying alive for just long enough for Sib to get the 3rd. He's on 4 straight this life, still has his Tempest, hasn't popped it yet, and again, Brack is almost about to lap him for his 2nd. We talked about specialist management and pro players knowing exactly when and where is most utilization you're going to find, and Brack is doing a really nice job of making sure he's finding utility, even though Sibilance is 29-14 just to his 20-7.
I mean, generally, I'm always going to call this pulling it as soon as you can, making the most out of it, whether or not the score is close or not. 3Kingz all over this one as they continue on taking points. Like you mentioned earlier, this 3Kingz team has taken a whole lot of progress in the last couple of shots.
Sib, though, even though he maybe holds the trigger for a little bit too long and popping out the Tempest, he utilizes it to grant himself full streaks with those couple eliminations that he did find. Lightning Strike, and he called it immediately. Mosh will find a little bit of a safe haven underneath, and he pops out the War Machine. Oh, that was so fortunate. Yes, he falls, but at least he's able to retain the charge. He puts it away just in the nick of time. Not that it matters much, but in case you didn't know, you still can put away your specialist just before it fully comes out and gets cocked and loaded. But now Spire Hyperbolic, again, fighting from behind. They're going to have to get it done here on our 3rd rotation on our 1st hill. Yeah,
that was really smart to take out that specialist, realize that he had lost, and put it back away quickly before he did fall. Now they're going to be able to use that one and continue in ensuing team fights. 190, 195 for the side of 3Kingz over 165.
Mosh is the only player with a specialist. Pemby very close to a vision pulse. Concussion onto Mac will delay him from being involved in the fight for what feels like an eternity, I'm sure. Sib is fine too, though, and he's Sib for a 3rd. Sib's having himself. He's 40-16. We're not hearing the emotion being given out by these players. A lot more calm and collected, but he's 40-16. We still have at least 50 points to play for.
Yeah, well, if there's a reason why 3Kingz is doing so well, we can look at that player all day long. More than a 2 times KD ratio. Sib is popping off.
Again, a player that a lot of people are looking at as soon as he is able to possibly be instantly inserted into the Call of Duty League decks here, and he's making a case for himself this time around, still holding onto a Hellstorm. But again, the Spire Hyperbolic is not out of this fight yet. Still fighting for the scrap time, working their way over to the rotation. This is one of the first times 3Kingz has actually been comfortably in control of the spawns, although I say that, and they actually get split out, so there actually are two players on the opposite elbow. It's going to be a vent versus elbow spawn. It's going to be a 50-50 dash. Who wins this fight? Nelson able to take it, and just like that, Aspire Hyperbolic winning from the front and winning the spawns have an opportunity to not only break the 200 mark, but could potentially tie.
Nice take on Archives there as Nelson forced to come all the way back. Now he's with his team. He is healed up, and he is in great position to defend this all the way through. 40 seconds left for Aspire Hyperbolic is all over this. Sib continuing on with his reign of terror. Mosh can be taken out here in the middle of everything. Hellstorm coming down, but I really do. Okay, so aside from noobs, I didn't really think there was going to be a whole lot of targets for that one, Chip.
Yeah, pushes everybody that were fighting for the spawns inside, and 3Kingz able to at least convert that into some significant time and pressure. 2:30 now broken on the scoreboard.
This is enough for 3Kingz to take the W. This is the perfect amount on that. Aspire needs to get all over this, take a couple, and that's exactly what they do. Now, we mentioned garbage time, but now this can go either way with just the last 10 seconds or so on these hills.
There is no map more famous, though, to just giving up P2 and just securing the win on P3. It's happened time and time again throughout the Pro League and the amateur scene as a whole. And Aspire trying to channel some of that energy into this map #1 of our best of 5 winners final. Here comes the rush, down elbow. Sib finds a big headshot on Depembe, who is responsible for this. Tac 5 is out. There are no specialists for Aspire Hyperbolic, and that's going to come on the gun skill. Mosh and Nelson for 2. Mosh for another. Brad finds a teammate, but he's still alive to play his life, and he's able to convert into not only 1, but 2. Aspire Hyperbolic not out of it yet.
Ship, this is going to be the last hard point, no matter which way you cut it. 2 minutes on the clock, but it's not going to go down on that as Nelson takes several. 46 and 21 for Sib. He gets downed here by Nelson with a nice little 2-piece. 20 seconds left for them.
Mac has to make a play. He's got a grab slam. He needs to get in this and open this hill up. It's really the only thing they need, and are they playing too chaotic? A couple of staggered kills come through. You don't have the time. He's got to come through the window. Hitting the triggers, not going to find anything.
No,
made it outside. The Aspire Hyperbolic on the comeback effort. Brack with the Tempest. Name a more iconic duo. I dare you to name a more iconic duo. Brack finds 4, and that'll secure it for Aspire and Hyperbolic.
Nelson pulling out the team kill at the end because he just wasn't done killing. 243, 250 for the side of Aspire Hyperbolic, and they're moving on to round 2.
We have been treated to some absolutely insane
hard points, man. Okay. 243 to 250. Last time we saw 249 to 250, and again, Shift, that's about as close as you can cut it. And with the team down, coming forward and winning.
Wait, what did Sib drop for the L? We can pull scoreboard up. Don't come back to us, production. Let's just see the scoreboard. I just gotta see the difference between Brack and Sib, because wow, I don't think we've seen too many performances like what Sib just put up for the loss.
Yeah, that was just wild. I mean, so many kills. I don't think he hit 50. I don't think he did,
had to have
but
been
it had
close.
to have been close.
It's got to be above 60, if not 70.
Absolutely.
Again, we're patiently awaiting the total there. He goes, what is that?
54
and 23 for the EKA. Brack, what did he pull? 43 and 26.
What a guy.
8.3k damage dealt. Let's go ahead and get into this one, though. It will be Hacienda Search and Destroy. After the narrow 7-point win on the comeback effort from Aspire Hyperbolic, this is a team that I think is going to be very, very scary in Search and Destroy. But, the argument still kind of bodes itself. This 3Kingz roster has a lot of familiarity between individuals and groups of this players. And they definitely, if anybody, have an opportunity to take down a team like Aspire Hyperbolic just based on the sheer fact that individually this squad is so talented.
Brack going to be the bomb carrier yet again, putting that in the book bag and taking it on. He is also on that bottom right elbow here, looking all over A. We're with him right now as he pushes in here, and A gets abandoned. 3Kingz not on it.
I was about to say Nelson's able to slip his way into the back line, and that's one of those plays that we saw kind of Optic make a staple for early in these games' career, and a lot of people kind of mimicked it. Just get your SOG player up and in the bottom bar, make a play happen, and Nelson is able to do just that before he falls. Fortunately for 3Kingz, they're able to come back and make it a 3-on-3, but the bomb, it is planted, and Noobs is in a very inauspicious play. It's just holding himself down in that bottom bar, and how do you deal with that? How do you expect that to happen? Fortunately, Archives able to make a show of it, but it will be a 1v2. Brack will slide, get the information, and then display his life. Very well done. Waits for his teammate. Easy 1v2. Probably a 2v1, I guess, if you're looking at it from their perspective. And the first round goes the way of Aspire Hyperbolic.
Yep, Brack coming through there and getting a lot of shots. That corner play by Noobs was a great one. Like you said, very inauspicious. Not a very frequent position played by these. I mean, I've called it all day. You got to check your corners, but I mean, at the same time, you can't. Yeah, exactly. At the same time, you can't expect a player just to be sitting there not moving, not making any noise.
And just as quickly as this place is buzzing, it's quieted down quite a bit.
Everybody paying attention to 3Kingz and Aspire Hyperbolic.
3-0. Noob's able to find 3 with that cheeky little play underneath the bar. And now it will be 3Kingz' opportunity to try to make something happen on offense, and they're just going to full stack towards A.
Yep, everybody going
and
south towards A. That's Jimbo pushing out towards the middle. He's not netted himself a kill quite yet, but I can imagine that'll change here soon. Remember, as Aspire now flowing on down. Plant is about halfway as they realize if they're not at B, they got to be at A.
I was about to say, is this plant maybe potentially too late because there's a lot of utility online for Aspire, and Noobs is able to cook one properly for Holler. Sib also falls. Jimbo trying to make it a little bit of an even more total, but Mac is the one to really find 2 as he pushes through the outer fences. So a 2v1, this would be essentially 1v4, and no one expects Noobs from behind. And how could you, again, because you have so many angles to check.
He really has been just playing the shadow character, right?
Yeah.
Always coming from behind and always getting that one. He's going to get this diffused, and he's going to get his streak.
A smiley face from Brack? He's put a smiley face on the wall? Sure did.
Oh, I get it. There you go. Give him a little nose. Give him some eyebrows. There you go. They've got time. They've got time.
Appreciate that, Brack. Thanks,
keep it happy.
Thanks for the smile.
There you go.
In more ways than one.
2-0 now for the side of Hyperbolic. Aspire. 3Kingz looking to make their first strike.
Brack will actually take play of the game here, or play of the round rather. Nate find one too? No, I was gonna say the Nate one didn't find one, but he's able to clean up the connector. Nicely done. Very calm, very collected, very surgical approach so far for the search and destroy for Aspire Hyperbolic. Noobs with the lightning strike. Brack is not out of the realm of possibility of finding one of his own in this round if he is allowed to take the bomb, which he will not be.
Yeah, has not passed away yet.
Yeah, Noobs, I imagine, is probably the one taking it. Sure is, as he's looking for the Hellstorm. A little cherry on top of his spree so far throughout these first 2 rounds. It will be a hit over towards B. A lot of pressure to the middle of the map offensively for Aspire, and how about that? That's a nice little pickup kill as Noobs got baited, or got the bait rather for him. That's big mouth bass fishing right there for the Hellstorm.
Yep, nice 2v1 on there. They're going to come up with an advantage on this. Noobs, again, now has that. Just pings it for the reconnaissance information. A little trade action coming through there, 1v1, but 3Kingz still down 2 lives to 3 so far.
But again, the whole fact of the matter is, you're 3Kingz, you should probably already understand that Noobs has full streaks. So how do you contest this? Because you can't just commit to going to check B because the Hellstorm could be right behind it. But how do you even attempt to defuse this? Essentially, you need to take down Noobs, who's going to be playing his life very patiently. Pen be able to find one. Mosh does get taken out in the back end, but again, Holler, you can't really put together too many potential opportunities for him to clean this one up.
So Holler is back, and he checked that corner. Did not actually fall. Using that healing, not going to be enough. Noobs get those shots in, and Hyperbolic Aspire goes up 3-0. Now, what I want to talk about for a second is Sib. We were all over this guy last time. 54 EKIA. So far, has not gotten a kill.
Yeah, he's mechanically a player that he's going to find kills. He's going to be able to run around a respawn and tear you apart. He's that skilled to do it. But yes, like you mentioned, it's a very different ball game out there when you're dealing with 3 players that were at World Championships. A lot of experience with one another. And it just comes down to, is there just too much predetermined game awareness and just set plays coming out of this Aspire Hyperbolic team, and just knowing how a player like someone likes to play, a little bit more wild and loose, and he's been shut down so far. Brack's trying to get a little bit off the rails himself, finds himself the first, looking for a second, will come to challenge it. He's got nowhere to go. 3-on-1 opportunity now for Aspire Hyperbolic.
Yeah, just like that, Aspire Hyperbolic puts us up 3-1, and this is all but done and in the bag. 3Kingz is Jimbo that we're looking on. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to feed streaks. You also don't want to just give it up so easily. Now we're going 4-0. Like I said, Search and Destroy not being nearly as even as we saw this hard point.
You got to take a risk right now. If you're 3Kingz, you just got a 5-man stack and hit something quickly. Even if you're on defense, you just have to hit something quick. Just change the pace. Do not allow this Aspire Hyperbolic team to get comfortable, because so far they are in their own comfortable sandbox playing around. Sandcastles galore. And you can't let that happen. Again, 7-1 for Noobs. He's got streaks to play with. The only thing you can do is just run at him. You can't use streaks on my team if I'm in your team. You know what I mean? You're just dealing with too much collateral damage. Fair. So I think you just need to hit aggressively here if you're the side of 3Kingz, and it looks like there will be 2 players playing a little bit more aggressively towards A. 3 over the middle. It'll be likely a quick rotation down towards Statue, and how about that? Archive's first blood will be traded back by Nelson. Noobs fading away, able to be rewarded another kill, so 4-on-3. And now this is where Noobs just plays his life, and he calls in a streak. Yep, lightning strike comes right behind this. It will clear out the space, and this will be a bomb plant just behind it for Brack. Just comes down to, will you respond in time to the players that are likely to be trying to hit the connector?
Noobs, Pimby both with their own kill streaks. 9-1 is Noobs. Did die last round, but that is going to be it so far. Sib's trying to maintain outside, looking at Fence. He definitely saw the butt into that player. 30 seconds to go here. Defuse takes 7.5. 2-2.
This is a good setup for 3Kingz, honestly, especially if he can find this kill, but no,
Nice.
Nelson with the SOG just too close for him to get the gun up in time. So now Holler's got to be careful of every single angle, and he might just try to make a heroic play. He wanted to go for the fuse, but got the reload instead, and he will find the first 1v1, returning for the second. But again, Brack playing this very patiently. How many times have we seen him do this, where he just comes in at the very last second, knows the timing so well, and he'll find himself the kill. And we've seen so many times where Brack has manipulated Hacienda to search and destroy, just making it look like an impossible feat to take him down, and there's just another exhibit for the case.
An impossible feat indeed, as we see an Aspire Hyperbolic team going up 5-0. No answer for the side of 3Kingz thus far. Winner of this will go on to the grand finals. Loser will go down and play against the loser's winner. Is that correct?
And they'll play up against the Fame in that one for the third place matchup.
Yep.
And all three teams that are left are in the money.
Indeed they are. First place getting $3,000, excuse me. Second place getting $1,500. Third place getting $500, just a little bit more than their team pass.
Bracket 6-1, 200 off streaks. Just in case things start to go awry, he potentially could just play his life out if things go wrong here and try to play those streaks, but you figure he probably is not really so worried about it considering the score at hand. Archives looking to get a little bit more aggressive, and oh boy, he just ran into 3 guns looking at him from Aspire Hyperbolic, and more spam fire will rely on Mosh to get another pickup. Will be traded back, but still it's a 4-on-2, and well, just go ahead and write this one out most likely, as it will become down to a 1v2. Not over yet. Holler will be found out from above, and Brack, he will clean things up. One of the more convincing search and destroys we've seen so far. Not taking anything away from 3Kingz, but they just looked like they were not ready to go on search.
Objectively, a 6-0 as badly as you get beaten. I think that's fair to say, Shit.
With 2 players earning streaks, if not, well, we don't know if Brack actually fully earned them, if he got an assist in there, but I don't know. Our producer's laughing at us. You know we've gone too far when we start getting giggles from the people running the stream.
In a way, that's kind of our notice,
it's
right?
Guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest with us, Tug. We'll jump into this one though successfully. So 3Kingz will be on the offense, and Aspire Hyperbolic in the red on the defense. Mostly a mad dash towards B. 2 players for Aspire will clear out the middle and then grapple or run their way over to contest Nelson with the first blood. Mosh with the second, third going to Nelson. And now finally, though, 3Kingz fighting things back, but just not enough numbers to fully commit. It'll be a 5-for-3 trade favoring that of Aspire Hyperbolic. I just said a Spiperbolic almost.
I was going to move past it.
We need to go with that.
Can't be Happer or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 3Kingz all over down bottom. They're going to be moving on in here to A. Of course, 3Kingz is on the offense. Force-play defense is Aspire Hyperbolic, so they do not get as much area with which to move around. Spawning outside is Archives, moving to looking on up to B, maybe try and set up some sidelines up there.
This is taking a long time for 3Kingz to develop this play. It's a 4-man hit through barrels, and now the rotation coming off the respawn very slowly. Archives should sit on top of B just to stall the clock while the pressure is still being kind of warranted towards A. First tick of progress, not bad, and Mac and Sip still finding kills with Holler here. This is opportunity to turn into a second tick as long as they can clean things up, of which they mostly do. Archives looking to make this kill lead go a little bit more in their favor as he kind of leaves the point and goes for the spawn.
Nice.
We'll find one, we'll find a second. 2 ticks of progress at A, working for the third, and it's a 6 life lead for 3Kingz.
Now the spawn's coming through from Aspire there, right outside that A, but that is going just as soon as I say that. B is the place to go now, as Sib does have that kill streak.
You can't get there if everyone's just camping in the back of your church.
Fair. Jimbo taking up a 2-piece on that one and pushing Aspire Hyperbolic to 12 lives versus 19. He is very close to his streaks, and there he comes.
Fully streaked out for Sib, and he's just having a field day in the spawn. Will finally get taken down by Noobs. Mosh also able to battle back, but the second tick of progress comes through at B, and at some point in time, if you're Aspire and Hyperbolic, you have to look at this point and say, how much do we really want to commit to this? Because there's already full streaks for Sib. He's already working towards a potential Tempest. If he pops off one more time, he might earn it, but it's only a 5 life differential, and with this positioning on the map, if Nelson can find a couple of kills, it would be great for the defensive effort. Moss trying to counter back, but the numbers for 3Kingz are looking pretty solid as Sib is holding a 1v1 over the middle. That's Brack, who is delayed from getting in, which allows Howler to find 2. And this is looking like probably going to be the end of B. I don't even think Brack's going to contest this. Nope, sure.
Yep. Yep, not able to get all the way in there in the first round, going over towards the side of 3Kingz. That's going to be their first strike here in the control on C-side as they are down 2-0.
And I'm glad we're seeing this play from Jimbo, because he's really the one to not only open the door, but make sure it stays a gate for his teammates to come back through. As they're, again, you can see that they're scrambling all over the place, looking for kills to make sure that the spawns are at least somewhat staggered for Aspire and Hyperbolic, and that turns into what looked to be a, okay, great, we found a first tick of progress to, hey, there's a second, and well, look at that. There's all of point A completely converted.
Now we got all of it. A happy surprise, we'll call it,
Happy
Shift.
surprise. There are no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Exactly, exactly.
And they just beat the devil out of that first round.
There you go. Happy accidents, speaking of, well, we won't make that joke. 3Kingz and Aspire Hyperbolic going on the second round of control. 3Kingz down, 2-0 so far in the series. 3Kingz all over this one, that's B, where they're at. A so far being foregone.
Honestly, this is even still a pretty risky setup for Aspire Hyperbolic. Yeah, you're dealing up against streaks, so you figure you have to go towards barrels. But they actually send 3 players over the middle, and it at least opens an opportunity for a conversation to happen between Noobs and Sib, which apparently Noobs went to debate classes. He wins his first. Not able to find the second, but still a life lead for Aspire, and it does open up the opportunity off the respawn to sneak into B and start making some substantial progress on this control point.
Aspire Hyperbolic getting close to their first ticket progression on B. Of course, you do need players in there. Brack now taking that one on up here as members of 3Kingz try to flow in like water onto that point. They do not want to give up any more progress unnecessarily as the trades come through. Archives takes himself one with a well-placed frag grenade. Sib is here looking to continue on with his kill streak. 9-4 now for him, 9-5 as he dies.
And you maybe wonder, was the lightning strike fully properly utilized? Yeah, it forced everybody off the point, but there really was nobody to convert on those inner hallways. Awkward 1v1. Holler is able to get the better of it on Pemby. Brack responds with the trade. 37 seconds and counting away to play with. Only 1.5 ticks of progress, of which that second tick is being depleted. And but what are you watching there, my friend? Able to find the shutdown, I believe, before that lightning strike, or pardon me, the Hellstorm gets fully called in, or did it come down? It looks like it actually did. Didn't see much impact being used of it.
Can't be watching Netflix on that one as we're hitting 22 seconds here. The lives being very, very even, but Aspire Hyperbolic is so far not really in the driver's seat. 3Kingz is doing a great job of holding off on the A and B.
Really, honestly, just clean play coming out of the side of 3Kingz. That is until Pemby is able to break through with a beatdown and an RK7 combined for the double. This is really the last approach, and for 3Kingz, I'm interested to see what they want to do because they do not have the lives. You're likely not, it's going to be a really costly attempt to even retake, so you let it go through, but look at Holler. He's moving his way all the way up, trying to get a couple of kills, tilting this more in their favor, a very difficult hill to break, regardless of the numbers, onto this point A. But Holler not really finding a lot of value back here. He is being a distraction, but Mosh shuts him down, and just like that, it's a 13-9, and Aspire Hyperbolic looking to potentially close this second round out in their favor.
They are winning so far in the lives pools, but they need to take this progression. They're almost all the way to the first tick on A, and now that's that. They will get rewarded with a round on that one. Noobs, oh my god, he's not missing shots here as his teammate Mosh takes up one of himself. Brack does fall in the thick of things, but now they're looking at last tick. That's Hollerfeld. There's one more. Archives doesn't make it in. Round going to Aspire Hyperbolic.
I think you're okay, though, again, if you're 3Kingz, you just don't want to feed those last 4 lives, especially considering that this position from Noobs is very hard to shake anybody from, coming in blindly, knowing that you're also going to have more guns looking at you. That was the best opportunity right there.
To grapple in.
Yeah, unfortunately, Noobs is able to find the second one for the cost of a single bullet. And again, you see Nelson to his right, I believe Brax to his left. And one more kill coming in favor, and then nobody else even attempting to touch. And it's the right call, honestly speaking. So 1-1, a little bit inconsequential for our first 2 rounds, but like I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, I was telling you, a lot of our more capable players are finding a lot more success on C-side control on their offenses. I don't think we saw any such instance of that outside of World Championships where it felt like almost every offensive round was getting converted, and so far that's the case here in this one.
I mean, and so far this round, we have different players at least popping off a little bit. Mosh 13-7, Holler 13-9. Now the lightning strike coming in. Not going to be finding anything with that one. Wasted kill streak. Pimdy maintaining on along with the RK7 as he gets up close and personal. Doesn't get the shot off, does get the melee, getting so close, just 15 shy of that kill streak.
And Holler long distance shots onto Mosh will again make the life advantage that much more. That's until Nelson is able to at least move on forward and contest the outer areas of B. He's not going to fully get in there yet. And how about this? Sib, maybe he heard us from before, pops up the Tempest very early this time, but only finds one for it. So say about it what you will. You make decisions of, is that worth it or not? Mosh also has a war machine if he wants it. Penny will just go in just to get some information, likely, as his teammates are hopefully relied to clean up on the back end. And there will be
second
a 2
tick
for 2. 23 on 22, second tick through like you mentioned. We're on the third, but it's not quite there yet. And Mosh just really kind of wiggling his way towards the outside, not able to find the last kill, and it will be 3Kingz securing B at a 3-life lead.
Man, Jimbo is a slippy character, isn't he? Really good player. Fancy footwork, gets him in and out of situations left and right. Tac 5 coming through for 3Kingz. That's Archives and his buddy Jimbo do get stunned on that, but doesn't look like Aspire Hyperbolic wants to take advantage of that one. Over in the top, Nelson takes himself a nice 2-piece. Tac 5 be damned.
Really good value out of the shutdown, plus the life total getting a little bit more even. Like you mentioned, the Tac 5 immediately nullified. Only Holler holding on to it for now. Sib working his way around the back. He's got Mac with him. Both of them will find a kill each. And then depends if they will move further forward. The cluster will slow things down. Plenty of time to play with, and it really just comes down to where do you go from here, because Noobs, Nelson, and Brack finding 3 make life very difficult on the point itself. Jimbo and Archives, once again, they did a lot of the work the first time around in their offense. They're doing it once again here. Nelson, coming from the checkers side, will shut it down and still get the 1-life lead. Make it 2 as 3Kingz not quite giving it. Mac making a solo play. He's just baiting out his team as much as possible, waiting for their teammate Respawn to come through, and he's finding more kills. And now the support is here. This is where it comes together for him.
Okay, yeah, this has been the Mac show so far, a Mac attack, if you will, taking multiple kills there while he waited for his teammates to come on in there. And now he's got all the support in the world as they're coming up very close, about halfway to that very last tick. Nelson Bragg taking some of their own noobs, not to be outdone, takes one of his own. And this is an Aspire Hyperbolic team that is okay with losing lives as long as they win team fights and keep it even.
Mac almost made me pop off there. He earned the grab time with that last kill, and you saw him really trying to get off the backside of the tank to capitalize on what would have been probably 3. But Aspire find him before that can fully come to fruition. So now a 7-on-6 into lives. 1 tick of progress needed, a minute to do so. Mosh, he's got 2 in front. Brack behind this. Cluster's going to force him into a really bad spot. That's a really great isolated kill for 3Kingz. Brack able to counter back, though. Still a 1-life lead for Aspire. The defense coming together really nicely. And it really comes down to what happens in the next 45 seconds. You need weight. If you're 3Kingz, you cannot get impatient here. Jimbo will show himself. Brack will see 2 and just back away. Very wise.
And as you say that, Pimby taking one from the back. Sib getting a little bit forward and getting punished for it all day long. Jimbo falling, so we're looking at a 2v4. Now Holler is last. Now Holler has, so far this game, has been the best player on their team. 16-3 for him. And he does have that, they're very close to, to his specialist.
Yeah, the Vision Pulse would not likely be utilized here, but
no,
he would love it for the next round at the start. That's the biggest thing, and I think he realizes that. Opening shots 1v1 will be tested from the side, and Nelson will clean things up, and that was the last person he wanted to get that kill, because I believe he's now on 5 straight. A lot of those were objective EKIAs, so a little bit of extra value for those kills.
Round point now for Aspire Hyperbolic, as they are up 2-0 in the series, and 2-2-1 in the control on Seaside.
Here's this play from Jimbo, a really heroic stand for him, as he's really kind of doing what he can to stay alive. And goodness, put him on the ice rink. He's pirouetting and doing spins that would make Tanya Harding blush.
Yeah, I called it fancy footwork. You described it a little bit differently. That's okay. Jimbo really has been a flashy player for this side. Him and Holler are both 16-14.
Or Michelle Kwan, or...
Let's name all the figure skaters we know. Okay, all right.
Is she a gymnast or?
I have no idea, Shift. I assumed you know.
I'm looking at production to see if they'll confirm.
Tanya Harding?
They don't know.
All right. No, they're shaking their heads at us in
athletes
shame.
of some fancy footwork fashion. Here comes the hit over towards A for the side of Aspire Hyperbolic. They will get a couple players here. The War Machine is triggered for Archives. Able to find Nelson for 1, but not really finding an opportunity to use as much more. We'll just spam the doorway. But again, you see Flak Jacket in hand. It will be enough to open up the point, and 3Kingz will at least even up the lives and clear point A, which again results mostly not only in the reprieve from the attack, but also a lot of time off the clock.
Yeah, Aspire got up pretty close to that. Now they're shifting focus on over to B. They are very close to this first tick. And I tell you, taking teams out of pocket on this, when they're not expecting it, and taking even a single tick of progress, even if you lose out, you can make that trade all day long. Nice grab slam there at the end by Mac.
Mosh gets shut down after he finds one of the War Machines. Similarly so was, well, I was going to say Mac, but he's actually able to clean up 2 more beyond it with 1 HP, and he's able to survive once again.
Nice.
Noob's red dot chasing a little bit. He's going to find himself in front of 4, and that's a little bit of an overextension for the former Carnage gaming player. Brack still holding on to the contest for now. Has to play his life, and he will get challenged by Mac. And this is just numbers on numbers for 3Kingz as they flood on forward. Mosh is able to at least hold back for a small bit, but we're down to about 45 seconds, and 3Kingz currently not only hold the life lead, but also the map positioning as it comes to this point at B.
Oof. Mosh trying to get away from that one. Holler NC says no sir. Puts him down in the dirt like a bad dog. 2 ticks of progress on Aspire. 35 seconds on the clock, and we're looking at a 3Kingz team wailing and trying to get this defense set.
Brack with the Tempest, trying to lock things down. And I think at this point, 3Kingz will say, okay, we respect the hustle. Just let him have it. Let him have it. Do not contest this. He does get shut down. Jimbo slides on by and actually able to find a second. So maybe an opportunity to touch this as they find a third. So now 23 seconds left, and goodness, not a lot of respect given to Brack with the Tempest, and he does get shut down, plus more kills come in furious fashion. And now just 15 seconds, a big life lead for 3Kingz, but Brack again trying to be the hero.
Brack is back, and he is angry. These life pools coming pretty evenly as the last little tick of progress coming through about halfway here. They definitely need this time shift.
Wow. Talk about just toying with your emotions there. 3Kingz looked like they had that one completely secured. Brack, after the Tempest gets shut down, comes back, and awkward moment here for Archives.
Yeah.
Will finally get taken down by the map environment. Couldn't quite get back over the top, and now a 4-on-6. But again, defensively this is possible, but Nelson, you can see where he's positioning. He's going to get info from Mosh. Hit the trigger, finds one. That might be good enough, though. It's a 3-on-5.
Worth it. 3-on-5, like you said. No response for the side of 3Kingz. Aspire looking to take their last one as every member of 3Kingz gets up and gets put down as soon as they come in. Nicely done.
Very clean.
Moving on along here to the grand finals. Wait.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. I thought I called that incorrectly.
Nope.
To the grand finals, Aspire Hyperbolic. We'll see that on the main stage here in just a couple minutes.